a legacy far bigger and enduring than what the drug war did to the Duterte name. Brace yourself, guys. This is gonna be the longest and most informative PGMN episode, maybe of all time. Leila de Lima.
Maaari niyong isalba ang bansang ito mula sa isang kriminal na pangulo sa pamamagitan ng pagdeklara na dahil sa kanyang kriminal na pag-iisip ay wala siyang kakayahan na gampanan ang mga katungkulan ng isang pangulo.
We all know her from the Liberal Party, dating senador at ngayon nanalong kongresista para sa mamamayang Liberal Party list. Well, she recently vowed to criminalize red tagging. And to be fair, hindi ito bago. Nung siya ay senador sa 18th Congress, she filed Senate Bill 2121 na naglalayong i-define at gawing krimen ang red tagging at sabi sa bill, ang red tagging ay yung pag-label, pagtawag o pag-portray sa mga individual, grupo o organisasyon bilang state enemies, subversives, mga komunista o terorista. In February last year, 2024, the Supreme Court in Derudo versus Vinoya declared that red tagging is a threat to life, liberty, and security. At ito ang naging basihan ng COMELEC Resolution 11116 na explicitly nagbabawal sa red tagging, labeling, or vilifying individuals or organizations as communists, terrorists, or subversives without evidence during election campaigns. Election offense na yan ngayon, punishable by imprisonment of up to 6 years and disqualification from holding public office. Ang bigat, di ba? Now, according to data from Vote Report PH, 1,750 reports of campaign violations were filed nationwide. 1,348 of these were reported online and 402 on ground. 99.63% of the online reports were red tagging related. 0.22% lang ang black propaganda o disinformation. On ground, 47.26% were about red tagging and only 10.20% were about black propaganda or disinformation. Nagkaroon ng bagong category. As expected, ang daming reports that came from the Makabayan Bloc.
It actually hurt our campaign dahil nakita naman natin how the resources of the government, how agencies like the National Defense, the PNP, the DILG, and other agencies of the government were being used to red tag, to red bait the Makabayan Bloc.
Represented by lawyers from the National Union of People's Lawyers o NUPL, their allies and their supporters. In fact, sinisisi nila ang red tagging, kaya daw konti na lang ang boto sa Makabayan Bloc at eventually dalawa lang ang seats na nakuha nila sa Kongreso. Do I agree with them? Hell yeah. Do I feel bad for them? Hell no. Kung titignan natin ang record ng Makabayan Bloc sa nakaraang 6 election cycles from 2010, collectively, the Alliance of Concerned Teachers, Bayan Muna, Gabriela, Anak Pawis, and Kabataan all got 3,218,000 19,176 o 10.70% of the votes, an equivalent of 7 seats. Their supporters grew in the next two election cycles, 2013 and 2016, where they secured 11.86% at 12.28% of the votes respectively. Nadagdagan ng over 770,000 votes na maintain nila ang 7 seats. Tig-dalawang ACT teachers at Gabriela, tig-isa ang anak pawis, bayan at kabataan. 2016, Duterte became president. It was also the beginning of the downfall of the Makabayan bloc. From almost 3.99 million votes in 2016, 2.30 million na lang in 2019. That's almost 1.7 million votes na nawala. Nawala ang anak pawis. In 2022, they lost another 700,000 votes. Nawala ang bayan muna. So they were down to just 3 seats. And in this election cycle, close to 510,000 votes ang nabawas and down to just 2 seats. Kabataan at ACT teacher. Laglag ang Gabriela. From their peak of 3,988,816 votes in 2016 to just 1,085,680 nitong taon. And they blame it all on Duterte and his anti-insurgency, anti-terrorista, anti-komunista policies.